So I'm Jeff Mellon, and thank you for coming. I think you kind of know what this is for and stuff. Do we want to kind of go around and do a little introduction thing or not? No? I get a lot of I don't blame you. I never really like doing that either.
Some of us are undercover, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. If anyone does want to say, like, I'm really curious, you know, just right here, I really want to learn this, or I really came here because of this, feel free to do that now or anytime. Feel free to ask questions anytime. Anybody have any questions right to start out with?
I don't have any questions, but I'm really here to just really learn about the Facebook piece of it.
The Facebook side, because we do have, you know, what's called Facebook and Google, Facebook versus Google. So, and
I was actually thinking the opposite, but I was curious to why it's versus, and maybe you'll go over that, but why isn't it?
Well, I wrote it that way because I thought a lot of people would be thinking, well, what should I be using? In my business, should I be using Facebook or should I be using Google?
Okay.
Or both.
Or both. Yeah, both could be an option too. Sorry. Okay. There's some food over here too, so help yourself. And does everybody have one of these? 2 pieces of paper. If you don't, and you see one that's not being used, just grab it. Just so you have that. So, along those lines, just a little bit ago I was looking at this flyer that I sent out. I'm not sure if everybody saw this, but this was kind of my advertising flyer. And, you know, if you read through this, if people see this, there could be all kinds of different things on here that could catch their attention. Like, first thing it says free lunch seminar. Maybe somebody is here because they want free lunch, right? No.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the only reason. You don't care about the rest of it. So, the next line, Facebook, Google, for local business. Well, maybe, just like you said, someone's more interested in Facebook, but somebody might be interested in Google. Somebody might be interested in which one should I use, you know? And then it says for retail, boutiques, restaurants, antique shops, resorts. Maybe one of those things caught your attention, or somebody's attention. And then the services stuff. And then we go down to how to improve your Facebook ads 1,000%. Maybe that caught somebody's attention. Maybe that's the reason somebody decided to come. Or maybe another line, it says how to reach more people on Facebook with one setting change. Maybe that is the reason somebody came. Yeah? You can only have one. No, just kidding. You can have multiple reasons. But, or mistakes to avoid with Google ads, or 2 steps to make your Facebook ads 10 times more effective. So my point is then the theme, that's kind of the theme of this whole thing now, is that people do things for their own reasons. Different things catch people's attention. And that applies to this piece of paper, this flyer, and it applies to, really, it applies to marketing, it applies to, hey guys, come on here. Help yourself with food, sure. So that applies to everything, really. It applies to Facebook ads, it applies to Google ads, it applies to everything. So that's one of the points I want to try to make. And we'll, as we go through these slides here. And this other sheet I have here is kind of, if you want to write notes on there or something. On the bottom, I do have a tear-off thing, so that if you want to, you can write your name and email on there, and I'll email you a copy of the presentation. Plus, I'll email you some other stuff. And
we're going to sit in front.
Yeah, you got to be in front if you're there.
I see some in the back. Sorry.
Okay. All right, you can be in the back. Just behave.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So this form here, just so you know then, when you're done, you can put your name and email on there, and then there's some options on the bottom there, and I'll go over those later. Okay, because I have a little thing to talk about at the end. So, let's see if this works here. So this is kind of an overview. I kind of have a whole bunch of stuff in here, probably more than I should have. But the list got longer. I kept thinking of things, and I kept kind of tossing it all in there. So, so talk a little bit about Google Ads, some mistakes to avoid, and Facebook ads or Google Ads, how to spend less and get more. And then we'll talk about 80-20. Anybody heard of 80-20 before? 80-20 rule. Basically 20% of your efforts can get you 80% of your results. So that applies to some stuff there. A little thing about the Starbucks espresso machine. Did you know that Starbucks sells an espresso machine? And it's the highest price one, I think, is, I thought it was $2,700, but I looked online, it's $1,000 for an espresso machine. So talk a little bit about that. Marketing technique that's 10 times better than social media, how to reach more people on Facebook, and then improving your Facebook ads. Okay, so a little bit about Google first. The Google Search Network, just so you know, I mean, a lot of you are probably not really interested in this, but a lot of people don't know this, and it's just a basic thing that a lot of people don't know. But there's different parts to the Google search. There's the search network, which is where you go to Google, google.com, and you see the little text ads like that. So these things here are, it says ad up by these things. So I did a search for lawyer, and we have a couple of local attorneys who are using Google search ads. I did a search for chiropractor too, and no local chiropractors currently using Google search ads right now. So that's the search network. Then you've got the display network, which is not on google.com. That's on other people's websites. Like if you go to the Echo Press, you'll see ads on there, and a lot of those ads come from Google. And then there's the shopping network, and that's where you can upload your inventory of items, and then each individual product that you have can be a Google ad. So, and actually up here, it's not shown on this screen, but sometimes there'll be a shopping link up there, and then you can go shop. So that shows up if you're searching for what Google thinks is like, if they think you're shopping. So just a little example. I did this little test in January with the Google Display Network, and I set my parameters so that just people within 50 miles of Alexandria would see my ads. And this is not on the search network now, this is the display network. So I wanted to see where my ads would show. And I believe I spent about probably $10 or so, and I had like several thousand impressions. So there I'm on the Echo Press. Can you spot my ad on the Echo Press page? In fact, I'm not only there once, I'm there 3 times. Once here, once on the side, and then I was on the bottom. I mean, that doesn't even look like the Echo Press. It looks like my ad is taking over the whole website. There I'm on Carrier 11, that's a Minneapolis TV station, as you know, probably. I'm right on the top with a big ad. WDAY, Fargo. So now remember, these are not showing to people in Fargo. It's just showing to people who are sitting like in Alexandria within 50 miles, but they're going to these websites, and then they can see that. Fox News. That looks like I'm the headline on Fox News there. I don't know why they're so big. This is the Fergus Falls Daily Journal. It's a newspaper on their website, and I'm on there up here, and I'm here, and I think I usually was on there 3 times on the footer too. And I tried it on my phone, and I was all over that too on the mobile devices. USA Today, there I am on the right. PC Magazine, I'm on that one. CNN, Boston.com. Whatever website people within Alexandria. So that's just an example of the display network with Google. You can be all over the place with that. So
And you paid how much?
I think I only spent $10.
Was
maybe
that good
20.
for a day?
One day?
No, I went for a few days. I was doing that, and I had like several thousand impressions, several thousand times that it showed up. So,
And that cost you $10.
yeah, it wasn't much. Now I think it may have been a little bit of a fluke because it stopped doing it as much as it was for a while. I adjusted some settings. I upped the daily budget from $2 to $3, I think, and then all of a sudden it was just everywhere. And then it kind of slowed down again. So I think something in their system automatically adjusted, and you know, if it wasn't getting clicked on enough, then it might slow down. So, but it was just kind of a fun deal for a while. But it's a good example though of the display network. You know, that's what the display network is with Google. So you can get a lot of exposure with that, and it's actually cheap. Actually, the cheaper than the search network because people aren't in buying mode then when they're on Echo Press. You're not shopping, right? But if you go to Google and you search for something, then you are, you know, a lot of times shopping. You're looking for something. So just a few little things about Google. A lot of people make these mistakes here, and they can make a huge difference. So if you mix the search network and display network in the same campaign, then it just gets everything all mixed up, and it's harder to get your money's worth if you do that. And Google pushes that because they make more money, but you don't. So, and then not getting detailed and specific is a mistake. You should segment things out. Like if you're a restaurant and you're doing a Google ad, don't say, "Oh, we serve food." You should have an ad for each thing you sell, and keywords that match, that trigger those ads that are really narrow, specific. So, and they're using too many keywords. So, a lot of people want to just throw all these keywords in so they get their ads shown all over the place. But then it's you're not really getting the people that you want clicking. You're getting just anybody clicking. That's what. So the idea is to narrow it down to just the people that you want, the people that are interested in buying from you. So Facebook ads or Google ads, and you know, this is not really a complete list here, but basically this is the big thing though. If your customers search for your products or services on Google, then it makes sense to be there. But for a lot of businesses, maybe they don't. So then you don't want to waste your time there. If you sell unique items, or if you ship them, you know, like you could have your ads, you could do ads for the whole country. And then, you know, if you have a product that's pretty unique, so maybe there's only like 20 people a day searching for across the whole country or multiple countries, but because your item is so unique. But then you can catch those people. You can show up right there, and you can catch them. And maybe an expensive click is worth $10, or maybe a click that is expensive is worth it if what you sell is $100 and you pay $50 in clicks. But still, you make $50, right? So if your customers come to you, be sure your Google directory listing works. So that's kind of the Google Places listing, the Maps listing. That's, I think most people know about that, and that's a free thing, but you should just make sure that that's updated and that you've claimed it, you've got your correct information in there, and you can add lots of photos and stuff in there, and people can give you reviews through that as well. And that's another thing that a lot of businesses really should do is gather reviews. And there's a link, you can set up a link and email it to your happy customers, and all they have to do is click the link and they can rate you on Google, and then you can collect reviews that way. And that's really valuable because that helps you show up higher in the search too, in the local search. So, and of course, good reviews are good, they're testimonials. So, I do have a little video tutorial that shows how to do that too. So if you were interested in that, I've got some little video tutorials that I'll give you. So just at the bottom, like I said, at the bottom of this page, if you want some of that how-to on-screen tutorial directions. I can send you some of that if you want to leave your email on there. Okay, so spend less and get more with online ads. I could really find a great picture for this. This is supposed to be, you know, a mother scolding her son, but really what I wanted to get across was persuading somebody. And if you think of sales and marketing, you know, part of the sales process is probably persuasion, but for the marketing part, at least for the online ads, doing ads and stuff, it's better to think about separating out those who aren't interested from those who are interested. So you eliminate the bunch of people who are not interested and just get the people who are interested and focus on them. And now with some of this, you've heard the term retargeting, remarketing. You can do that now easily, pretty easily. So, and here's kind of an example here. So if 2,500 people see your ad on Facebook, and let's say 150 people like it, or click, or comment, or share, or they visit your website. So basically you've eliminated 2,350 people who aren't interested, right? But you've identified 150 people who took some kind of an action. And now because of the capabilities we have with Facebook, and you can do this on Google too, you can remarket to them and you can go back and spend money, a lot less money on an ad to show in front of those few people who are a lot more interested. So you're not wasting as much, you're not spending as much money, and you're way more effective. So you need someone to, you know, as they say, raise their hand to say they're interested, and then by doing something like that, clicking or liking. So your Facebook fans, you know, that's a form of remarketing, because you can show ads just to your Facebook fans. So if your fans are genuinely interested in your business, that's good. But a few years back, there was a lot of marketers advertising, you know, get 100,000 likes in 2 days, you know, pay me a bunch of money and I'll get you 100,000 likes. Well, no, that's all just fake. What's the value of those likes? I mean, you got a big number there, and that's really all it is. Because somebody in China or India has this click farm thing, and they've got all these people clicking on stuff, and they don't even know what kind of business you are, but they liked your page. Well, now if you spend money on ads showing those people ads, that's a waste, because they're really not interested. So if you have genuine likes or fans on your Facebook page, that's good. And it used to be that you could do a free post, and you know, more of those fans would get reached, more of those fans would see your post. But now it's been getting less and less, and I've heard percentages like maybe 10% or less of the people that are your fans will see your post. But if you do an ad, you can reach probably almost all of them with a paid ad. And it doesn't take too much money, unless you have 1 million fans, you know. But, so.
And why won't they see your ad?
Your free post?
Yeah.
Because there's so much, probably a couple different reasons. One might be that Facebook would rather have you give them money. That might be one reason. The other thing is there's so much stuff going through that they just have to throttle down all this. There's so many people on Facebook, and there's so many posts, and they just got to kind of control it. Facebook does want you to like using Facebook, so they want to show you what you want to see. So, but they would really like your money, right? They're a business, so that's fair. So really, kind of what we're going after here is followers. We want to build up our following, you know, and you can do that in lots of different ways. So your Facebook fans, they're your followers, right? And that's a valuable thing if they're genuine. But now with Facebook, you can even build followers just from someone engaging with your post. If someone just clicks on your post or shares it or likes it, you can, through the Facebook ads account, you can build these little things called custom audiences. And you can say, I'm going to build a custom, and it's like 3 different steps. It's really easy to do. You can say, I'm going to build a custom audience of everybody who clicked on my posts in the last 30 days. You can do it with video views, like everyone who viewed any of my videos more than 30 seconds. I'm going to have those people. And then you can do ads to these audiences. And you know that you're getting better value because they are people who are interested, you know. You're not just throwing your ad out to anybody, because that's where you waste the money, you know. So there's a lot of capability to do it right and to really get your money's worth here. So you can do this out of so likes, fans, followers, engagement, comments, shares, website visits. So website visits too, if someone visits your website, even if they weren't on Facebook, but they just visited your website.
No, they'll start getting emails.
Yeah, it's just like have you ever been on Amazon looking at something and then you went to another website and the thing you were looking at from Amazon's following you around. You know, you can do the same thing here.
Does that require the pixel?
Yeah, you have to have that, what they call a Facebook pixel, which is just a little bit of code. You have to put that on your website. So that when people visit your website, then it sends a signal back to your account in Facebook that person is kind of flagged, and then they're one of those people in your audience of website visitors. So then you know, if you can build up an audience, and you know, another example, an earlier example from 10 years ago, and it's still probably the best thing, is an email list. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute too. But an email list is that's an audience of people who should be interested in it. They should be probably potential customers. So, and it's easier to make a connection with someone by sending them an email than to hope they see your Facebook ad. So the Facebook ad is still valuable in that scenario, but email is kind of like the top thing. And just a kind of an overview about audiences, you know, a cold audience in Facebook, you can do an ad and you can say, oh, I'm gonna make my ad show just, you know, around Alexandria and just to, you know, 30 to 50-year-old people. You can say male or female if you want, and then you can also pick out interests and behaviors. Like for Deb, for Alex Power, you know, you might pick out the men who are, for certain kinds of equipment, maybe men in between 40 and 60 like to buy this kind of tractor, right? So you can target that and you can say 50 miles around Alexandria. You've probably done that. But those people, you know, you're not really narrowing it down to people who have already expressed interest. But still, you need to start somewhere. So you have to start with a cold audience. If you're a brand new business or something, you know, you don't have anybody yet. So you got to start somewhere. So you kind of have to start with a cold audience. But that's the most expensive audience to advertise to because they're less responsive. Because you don't know which ones out there are interested and which ones aren't. So you do an ad out to them, and the ones that start interacting or visit your website, then you start pulling them in, separating them from the ones that aren't interested. So that's like a warm audience, you know, if they've liked or commented or visited your website. So that's cheaper. And then a warmer yet or a hot audience, if they've already bought from you, that's usually even better. Now for some businesses like ophthalmology, I don't know if someone gets LASIK, if they're going to get it again. Hopefully they won't, right? So. But a lot of businesses sell more than one thing. So, you know, like if someone buys a tractor, they might buy a skid loader, they might buy, what else do you sell? Whatever. Attachments, oh perfect, yeah. those should be a really, really good audience.
They should be.
Well, they don't,
Yeah.
not always.
No, but.
Yeah, they should be though. And then the last thing, I've got email list, like I just mentioned on the bottom. Targeting. This is, so, this is off of Facebook, of course. So you build your email list, and then you can reach people with email. So, and by this I'm talking about, have you heard of Constant Contact, MailChimp, Aweber, those kinds of email services? Because that just takes a lot of the work out of it. I mean, you could do it manually through your own Gmail account or something, but you can, if you start building up your list to several hundred, there's a limit to how many people you can send an email to with Gmail. So, or Yahoo or whatever it is. So, yeah.
Do you recommend one over the
Oh.
others? I mean,
Well-
or do you know the advantages and disadvantages
yeah.
of them, or?
Yeah, not really, but I know some of the common ones. I know I use ActiveCampaign. That's one, and I've used Aweber before, and that's pretty good. And MailChimp I've used. What do you use that? MailChimp, yeah. Anybody else use those? I think the chamber was using Constant Contact. I'm not sure if they still are. I don't know if they switched.
We use Constant Contact. I use both. I have another business where I use MailChimp and then I use Constant
Okay.
Contact.
Do you like one or the other better?
The analytics are different. I think Constant Contact's easier to work with than MailChimp, but it just depends. I think for my other business, I sell products online too, so it's a nice way to integrate the two and you could market that way.
Yeah.
But Constant Contact I like.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you just use one, you're way ahead of people who are not using one. There's like, I don't know, there must be 50 of them, but.
I'll give you another example. For Constant Contact, we just did this. I'm from Theater Lamadou, and we, on our Facebook page last week, just did a little sign-in tool so you can text the word TLHD to 22828, and then you can sign up for our website, or our email list. So I just put that Facebook post out there with a little teaser last week. I just said, text this, and we got like 25 new people on our email list, which is pretty substantial for our business.
Yeah. Yep, that's good. I mean, because.
You can definitely use both, like of those where you're talking about your email list, but you can build it from your Facebook page.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And how easy is it to collect email addresses? I mean, how many of you want to sign up for another newsletter? You don't have enough to read yet. That's been the thing, that was so common over the last 5 years or so. Get my free newsletter, give me your email address so I can send it to you. Now, lately it's been more of, something shorter, like a cheat sheet, I guess I don't have it here, but I gave you one. Just a one-page thing you can consume and get some really good tips really quick, so it doesn't take you long.
People won't read anything that's not bullet pointed anymore.
Yeah, right. It's got to be quick and easy. Because really, if you think about it, even though it might be free, if you're giving away a free book, and it takes you 3 hours to read, it's still, your time is what it's costing, so, even though it's free, so, yeah. So, think about, you really got to think hard about what to give somebody in return for an email address. So, but it is valuable if you can figure that out and you can have a list. I mean, I know a guy, or I don't know him personally, but I follow him on, he's a Facebook advertising expert, and I'm on his email list and I follow his blog, and he writes a blog post every week. And he has an email list of, it's either 10,000 or 100,000, I don't know, but he does a blog post and then he sends an email to all of his people that are on his list that he did a blog post. And then they click over and they read his blog post because they're interested in what he's saying. And then, within an hour, he's got like 250 people have shared the blog post. And many, many more have read it, and many, many more have commented, hundreds of comments. Think about what that does to Google search optimization. I mean, his stuff shows up all over the place when you go to Google, so he's getting free advertisement there.
Do you think to be successful in this, you have to blog? like to blog or not to blog?
Yeah, I think it depends on the business, probably. Blogging helps you get more stuff on your website, but I think the real trick is if you can find something that people are really interested in. Find something that people really need, that's the big trick. So people need tractors, right?
Everybody needs that.
Everybody needs a tractor. So,
Everybody needs insurance.
That's
They're
true.
insured, they
yeah,
have to.
that's true, isn't it?
That's very true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's, how many scary stories are there about people who didn't have insurance or got in trouble because of something, there's a lot of them. So you can use some of that material to get people's attention, So you can scare people to get attention, right? You can offer curiosity, you can offer something different. There's all kinds of different ways. So, anybody want to know about 80/20? This is just huge, 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 but I'm not going to we could do a whole seminar on it, but how many people have heard of this? Just raise your hand. So maybe half, quite a few. So if you already know all about it, then we don't really have to go over it, but I'll just do it quick, because some people haven't heard of it, so it's really, really a big deal. 80% of the value is achieved by 20% of the effort, 80% of work by 20% of your team. And some of these, you might think about, yeah, that's true for me, 80% of sales come from 20% of your clients. 80% of the sales come from 20% of your products. Think about that tab on your products, because you got a lot of different products. 80% of sales come from 20% of your salespeople. And then I like this one, 80% of your complaints come from 20% of your customers, right? And that's probably 99% versus 1, yeah, right. 80% of the wealth sold by 20% of the people, and that goes even further to the 90, the one, you always hear that in the news, the 1%, 20% of the carpet gets 80% of the wear, right? And your clothing your closet, 20% of it gets wore 80% of the time. So bring that over to what we're talking about. 20% of your Facebook ads get 80% of your good results, right? But what if you only do one ad? You don't know if it's a good one or not, right? And this little story here, I just think, this is kind of 80/20 related too. So they sell this machine, but basically, because they know, Starbucks knows that out of all its customers, there are a few that have to spend the money. They have money burning a hole in their pocket. They need to buy that $1,000 machine. And then the next day they'll come into Starbucks and buy a $5 espresso too, right? So it applies to demographics, it applies to customer behavior. But, think about it. If you sell multiple products, is there a product you could sell to your 1%, that really would buy the most expensive thing possible? 10 times more than everything else. There might be someone in your customer base. This 80/20 thing, applies to, it isn't just on the Earth, it's in outer space, it's all over the universe. 20% of the craters on the moon take up 80% of the surface area. 20% of the cities in Minnesota make up 80% of the population. And I thought about that a few months ago, and I went and looked it up, and I found a website that lists populations of the cities, and it was pretty close. So it's just kind of a universal law of nature. So we've already talked about this, you know what this is. Right? If you think about somebody seeing your ad on Facebook, even if they're a customer of yours, they see your ad on Facebook versus getting an email talking directly to them about, something they like to hear. I mean, which one is going to be better? It's the email, definitely. I mean, they might not even see your Facebook post, even if they're in your shorter list, I actually did a test on this a while back. with boosting a post. So when you boost a post, there's something called the optimization setting. It says optimize for engagement, because usually posts are made for Facebook wants people to engage with your posts, or you want people to engage with your posts. You know, you want people to like or comment or share. So it just defaults to that when you boost a post. Now, in the boost part, you can't change it, but if you boost it and then go to the ads manager, you can change it to optimize for reach. And this is the difference I did. I did 2 different ads. The normal one, this first line, that's what happens. I did $10 ad spend, and I had 17,000 people, Facebook said, you know, within Alexandria area. So this is what happens. I did get more engagement for this one, but I didn't reach very many people compared to this. Look, it's almost 5 times more people when I changed optimization to reach. So, and you know, when you got a smaller population like this, Facebook probably doesn't have enough data to really work with to make this work the greatest. It did make the engagement go up, but who engaged? I mean, it's 34 people, and they're probably not going to be, I don't know if they're really going to be my potential customer. It might be some teenager that likes to click likes all the time or whatever, you know. So I just want, if you just want to reach everybody in the local area, and there's not that many people anyway, it's not that expensive, just change that to reach, or optimize for reach. And then you can use your great ad writing talents to get people to engage instead of letting Facebook try to get people to engage for you. They have all these automatic things that they try to do, that their system tries to do, and it does know a lot, you know. You know, Facebook knows how many posts you clicked on last week. Do you know how many posts you clicked on? Not only that, it knows a lot more detail from all the way back, and it's all built into their system. And you can take advantage of everybody else's data with your Facebook ad, you know.
Is it true with Facebook now that with the algorithm, if you're not using video, that it impacts your visibility?
I've never heard that, but I have heard that Facebook wants to push video and wants, it kind of favors video. I never heard any negative thing about anything else, but I think I've heard internet marketers that are doing a lot of this stuff saying that video goes further. So, but who wants to do video, you know?
Not guys who sell drugs.
But, you know, you don't have to do a fancy video.
Or long.
Or what?
Or long.
Or long, or it doesn't have to be yourself, you can video your friend, right? But videos, yeah, I guess they go further, and even more than that, live ones go. Because Facebook sends out notifications when you're live, that, hey, Deborah's live on Facebook. Oh, and then everybody gets a notification then, right?
If you get a video of like a tractor chasing a deer, that
Yeah.
People would
Go.
watch that. People
Yeah.
would
There,
watch
go.
that, yeah.
change your hunting plan for next year.
Warning the salesman.
But that's our issue, is that my base of people are very uncomfortable being in front of the camera.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
There's not enough donuts.
You gotta
I
get.
do that. I do like a wildlife series or something. Just once a week, get some cool wildlife video that was caught from the tractor.
Yeah. Yeah. But really, your customers like they're into the equipment, right?
Yep.
So they like seeing pictures of the stuff. So that's good.
Just drive it around.
Yeah. This just kind of another angle I'm looking at here. If you pretend that one leaf on the tree equals one Facebook ad. So if you think of a leaf as something that collects sunlight and it produces shade, and a Facebook ad hopefully gets attention, right? So what's the difference there? You know, if you got 1,000 leaves, you're going to have a lot more light gathering ability and a lot more shade. Of course, you're not going to do 1,000 Facebook ads, but maybe you can do more than one. Maybe you can do 10 or 20, you know. So if you're going to do 10 or 20 ads on Facebook, how are you going to do that? What are you going to make those ads be about? That's probably what a lot of people will run into, because, you know, you think about, well, I got to make it about what we're doing at my business. But maybe a lot of people don't care about what you're doing at your business. So, and this is social media, right? So that doesn't really fit, right? So you need to be talking about stuff people are interested in. So here's just 10 examples of different kinds of ads you could do. You could do a general awareness ad, that would be about your business. Or you could do an event, like this event today, you know, if you're doing an event in your business, or a community event, or something related to the news. There's all kinds of different things you can think of to do a post about it and then just kind of tie it back into your business. Emotional story. So I'm just going to go through it. But now actually, if you follow 80-20, you don't get 10% results from each of the 10 ads, right? Because nothing is even in the universe. What you get is like 1 or 2 ads that get most of it, and the rest of them aren't any good. So, which means you have to look at the results, see which one. It's not that hard to figure out which one got lots of likes or engagement or whatever. But if you don't try this, you'll never know. You might do one ad and it might be this little blue one here, and then you think Facebook doesn't work. You know, Facebook ads, right? And it's impossible to predict. You can't predict it. You just don't know what. There's too many variables. So you have to try stuff. Okay, so this is an example of awareness ad. I'm just saying web design, hosting, database systems. So I reached 1,000. I don't know what I spent. I reached 1,000 people on that. And I don't know, this was not a warm audience either. So I just kind of, that's what awareness is more like. You just want to reach out and get new people to know about you. Here's an event for Party in the Street downtown Alexandria. So these, a lot of people respond to those. People will write other people's name in the comment just to kind of tag them to tell them about it, you know. So kind of like sharing it. So they're popular. They really do well. This one was the homecoming parade this fall. And I thought, well, I'm just going to try to take some pictures for people who couldn't be at the parade. I'm going to take some pictures and then I'm going to put it under my, kind of like sponsored by database systems, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it out there and I got like 10,000 people saw that. And it's like $10. And it, where an equivalent spend on a different kind of an ad was maybe a few thousand, 2,000 or 3,000. And this one went way over. So think about what people are interested in. That's what you got to do. That's the whole trick. There's a news thing. We went to see the eclipse, so Missouri. I saw a picture of you too, Canton. Eclipse.
Did you get the total?
Yeah, we went down to Missouri.
Yep.
Yeah, did you?
We were in Nebraska.
Okay.
Yep.
There was cloudy and rainy all over the place down there, so
Yeah, everything opened up. Yeah.
we were driving to get out of the rain, and we finally found a spot. So
Perfect.
yeah, but yeah, so I mean, but what does this have to do with my business? Well, you got to tie it into your business a little bit, you know. That's the trick. But I wrote a blog article about it, and then I tried to tie it into how you do Facebook ads. So, a happy story. Now this picture is kind of crazy picture, and you can get pictures, by the way. And on the cheat sheet, I've got a whole list of websites where you can get free pictures. Because Lois, I was talking to Lois yesterday, and we were talking about pictures. Because you can't just use copyrighted pictures; you have to use, you know, legal ones. So just some examples of different things you can do, an emotional story. So things that happened to you. I don't know when this was, April 1, I don't know if it was last year or what, but I was at a band concert. And the director said, go home to your, he was talking to the kids, I guess. Go home to your parents tonight, hug them and tell them you love them. That's what the music director told the kids at the concert that I attended last night, which was true. That he did say that. So, and that was kind of touching, you know. And that might be touching to somebody else if they do that too. So, and then again, try tie it in with your business. There's a guy that invented the cell phone, and that's what. Remember those bricks? Anybody? So we're just thinking of all kinds of different things that people might, so a lot of people are interested in sports, right? Some are not at all, and some are a lot. Some of your customers are interested in sports, maybe, and some of them aren't. So you can reach some of them with this ad. Hobbies you can use, okay.
Arts
Arts.
events?
Yes, anything that interests you probably interests some other people. And the better you know your audience, the better you can be at resonating with them. So basically, you know, you've got to reach people first. But then you also got to get noticed. So if you think about the Facebook newsfeed, you know, first of all, that setting, remember that setting to change that engagement to reach, so you reach more people. Now if you're advertising across the whole country, that might be a different scenario. You may not want to use that. But you need the ad to get out there, you need it to get noticed. There's a lot of chaos out there, right? There's a lot of stuff people are looking at. And then if you can, use a call to action, get them to click, get them to do something so that you can identify them as someone that might be a potential customer. And then you can show ads to them later. So I know a little bit more about reach. So at the campaign level, you can choose which kind of, what you're trying to do, what's your objective. You know, if you go through creating a Facebook ad, they walk you through, like, what's your objective? Do you want to get website traffic, or do you want to reach people, or do you want people to engage? You know, do you want to get more video views? You can set all these things there, and then you get further down into creating the ad, and you can set your budget and your schedule. If you put a lot more money into it, of course, you're going to reach more people. So you've got lots and lots of choices. It's almost too many choices when you're doing Facebook ads. And then you need to get noticed, you know. So if your ad might be there, but if it's boring or just doesn't resonate with anyone, then, you know, then it's a failed ad. But you got to try different ones. But still, on every ad you make, you want to try to do your best to see if you can get something out of it. So your ad should match your audience. Offering free help or advice, you know, that's how you start. That's how you get someone's attention, right? Don't ask, but give. So don't be selling on Facebook. That's kind of the rule because it's social media. So if you can just make connections and get make friends and stuff like that, then you can hopefully move on later with them and, you know, turn them into customers, get sales, whatever. Make the topic about the audience's needs, not about your business. And, you know, normally when you make an ad for your business, you think you're going to talk about your business, but flip that around, talk about the audience's needs, you know, right? So for tractors, maybe don't talk so much about this great tractor, talk about the guy who really needs this tractor because his old one's terrible. Right, or whatever. Talk about the audience's problems. Because they don't care about your stuff, they care about how it affects them. Right? Stand out, be different, resonate, help, give, don't sell. Okay? And then act. That's the call to action thing, you know, if you can get them to click and stuff. Sometimes it's just a matter of saying, click here to read more, you know. Sometimes you got to tell people what to do and they'll do it. And then how to make Facebook ads 1,000% better. I was reading this earlier today. And then I went to the next slide and there was no answer, and I thought, oh, well, what's the answer? But actually, we've covered it, you know, really. And in my mind, when I first wrote this up was doing 10 ads, 10 Facebook ads. Most people will do one ad. If you do 10, you can be 1,000% better because you can find which one or two really is good, and then you can put a little more money in that and stop the rest of it. That's the way to do it. Anyone disagree? Agree? Questions? So, I do have this little thing I made up a while back, I called the Ultimate Web Kit, and it just has a whole bunch of stuff in it. It's a web page that has all this information on it, including videos and tutorials and stuff like that, and it covers a whole bunch of this stuff. I do on-screen videos, and they're all there. how to get cheaper Facebook ads, real examples, how to get more clicks, reach more people, which we've talked about a lot of this stuff already. How to get reviews on your Google directory listing, and I have the process for that. It's a matter of going to a certain Google page and then getting a link and then putting your Google Places ID in there and then getting that link. And then you can collect, one of my clients has like 42 views and they had like 1 view a few months back, so they've just been going to town getting a lot of views. So, and then it helps them show up better in search. Okay, and then there's some more stuff. I got some more checklists and stuff with that. And I had selling it on my website for $1.99, but I have a special today. Plus I have 1 hour consult price, which I regularly charge $100 for. So $50 for the whole thing. And plus I have a Facebook ad startup kit that I've done a couple months ago too, that's all packaged in a kind of a tutorial type format and instructions and stuff that they might need to know. So all of that, if you are interested, that's what this thing on the bottom here, this ultimate web kit, the second thing. All you got to do is check it, and then you put your name and email on there, and then I'll get in touch with you. So, and then there's Q&A. So, did I miss anything? Anything that people came here to learn that they didn't really get? Because I didn't really go into like, do this, do this, do this on the screen, and this, and this, and this, because there's so many of those tutorials out there, and I can point you to those. Facebook has pretty good stuff for learning how to, instructing you how to do these things too. Plus a lot of other third-party places do. So, what did I miss though? Questions? Did I change anybody's mind or did it give you any new ideas or, okay. Yeah, feel free to give me feedback too if you want to write anything on that form. Yeah, Gail?
I understand that your focus was on Facebook, which is, I understand why, based on kind of what you told us at the start. But in terms of cost-wise, if somebody wanted to do both, do you get basically the same bang for your buck
I
with
think
either?
it could be kind of, if you compare
If
the
you use it right?
yeah, if you compare the display network to the Facebook. Facebook and the display network are
Yeah.
kind of similar because in both cases the audience is not shop, they're not looking for stuff.
Right.
They're just, you're interrupting them with your ad, right? In both cases.
Okay.
It's like so they're similar price probably. Google clicks can be really expensive depending on what business you're in, or they can be reasonable. They can be $1 or $2. They can be $500 for a click. If you're in a really, really competitive thing like injury lawyer thing, and there's a lot of them bidding in an area on that. So.
Another question.
Yeah.
When you do a Facebook ad, you get to select. Each selection increases the price or not?
Select what?
Well, like demographics and.
Yeah, in that part you're building your audience, you know, where you're determining who's going to see your ad. So of course the bigger the audience, the more potential there is to spend money, but you also you can set your daily budget or your lifetime budget.
And with clicks, that can.
Yeah, and you can say pay by click or by view. I always just leave it on the default, but you can totally control what you spend, you know. A lot of times I do a lifetime budget. I just want to spend $20 on this and see what happens. And sometimes I'll do daily, like $2 a day or $5 a day. But then you don't want to forget about it either, and then have it running. So, yeah, yeah.
Are some days of the week better than others?
Yeah, I don't know. It could be, and that would be. I think most people would answer, test it. You tell me, test it and tell me. You know.
I'll ask my daughter.
Yeah. You should do 10 Facebook ads and test it. That's
well,
my.
That's part of what you're buying though, is their ability to know that. They know the answers to that. So if you buy like a 5-day program, they're gonna weight it so that you get the most views or the most engagement based on whatever you ask them to do.
Yes, because they
So
want
you're
us
paying
to
for that
succeed.
service.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
want us to succeed.
Yeah, Facebook is trying. Their system is trying to show your ads to the right people because they don't want people that hate Facebook because they saw ads that they weren't interested in. So they don't want your ads to look like ads either, you know. So that's why, you know, some of my examples, you know, if they look like stories, that's better. We don't want to see ads when we go on Facebook, right? We don't want to be sold to. We want something interesting or something free or some free advice. Like insurance company, you know, give me some really important thing or something in the news maybe that I'm wondering about, and you know, and you can tell me. And real estate, you know, there's definitely things, and not everybody's buying a house all the time or selling a house all the time. So you got to kind of try to get to, but maybe I'm thinking about selling it sometime, or maybe I want to know things that will help the value so that when I do sell, I give some tips and stuff like that. So free advice, free stuff. Yeah. So this is live streamed on YouTube all around the world. So, and it's recorded, so it'll be, so if you want to watch it again over and over, you can do that, but I wouldn't. So I think I had a few people who were going to watch it, either the live or recorded, so. So hopefully that worked. It's kind of a new thing with live stream on YouTube. So anything else? I'll let you just a couple minutes till 1 o'clock already, so. Anxious to get back to work and forget about Facebook, or think about maybe trying something different?
Write up a plan.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you've got more questions for me afterwards, you know, we can talk, or email me or call or whatever, and be glad to help you out. So I'm not going to charge you for a few minutes of talking. So, but if you wanted to do this one thing, it's a good deal. This 1 hour, and then I'll sit down with you and stuff. So if you want more food too, please do take it, because I really don't need all of that extra. So, and thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Oh yeah.
I think it's only an hour. Can you open this or call? Heard of me? Bree is my dog. Oh, Bree! Yes, I love Bree. Wow. You should be proud. Oh, I am. I just miss her because I haven't seen her for maybe 2 years, maybe more. That's not good.
No, she's been real busy.
We've talked on the phone. That was probably like a year ago. I can't remember. Oh, it was because of Hotel's mom.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if we could try and pull together something, like a little fundraiser, and it just, the timing just wasn't right. It was too early in the game.
Yeah.
That was my good excuse. I caught her in Nashville or Washington, stuck at an airport.
Yeah, probably Atlanta.
Is she still traveling a lot?
Well, I mean, she's around the county.
Local.
Yeah.
So she's still working with the News Network?
Yeah. She just found out that Douglas County and Polk County pulled out of the parent network program. So, looking for funding and, because it's something that these parents really want. And she's so passionate about it, So, yeah, so she's, looking for funding and gonna need to write some grants and, my brother told her to get a hold of for mental health. She works with Region 4. Not
Thank you
with
for
them,
mentioning
but
that, I need to call that though. I went to the day at home, they sponsor a day at home for people with mental health issues.
Oh, okay.
It's an opportunity to meet their legislators. They bring the legislators to them, the ones that can make it. And I found this really interesting information there, but I want to follow up with her on some of what we were told. I figure she's the one to ask.
Yeah.
Well, you will talk to Bree, right?
Yes.
And you'll tell her that we met each other. Tell me your name. Dawn. Oh, nice to meet you. Right. Oh, yeah.
Some sort of
Well, I did that.
subscription.
Yeah, I did a lot.
Have all their ones they designate. And so say now, black or whatever needs to have.
And the thing that
Goes to that line, puts in this information. I just all law and all this stuff. And I get that. Oh, it's such a and then I prepare this for, other writers on fire. It's prepared and it gets sent back, and when it gets sent back, the credit card is loaded and it's charged. So you know, which is always an issue, get so many people.
And you said this, but send me a full set.
But that wasn't her job. Then you want a full set. So there's excerpts. I will not send somebody a full set. I may just be shooting myself in the foot.
So they're just gonna copy it.
Right. So absolutely not.
Right.
Even if I go on an interview with somebody face to face, I bring myself up and full through it.
And a half.
Wow. I take
And it
all
was
this
just
stuff.
her birthday on Sunday.
So
So I called my sister and said,
and then, so anyway, this would be a great way, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I saw my nephew that's selling these things.
I wanted to really have the crazy
The
idea.
idea of, getting lined up with all, because most corporations have, you know, when you come big, size companies.
So you might wanna do that with
Like,
her.
and yet they can be a bench or whatever, they're still gonna need it. And they need to turn on material, And so you can like send over something, I just did this report that needs to be added to whatever. And then you shoot back, and it's like, okay, you can always pretty much charge your account,
Right.
So
Maybe it's his way.
Yeah.
And I thought,
That would be great.
Stuff like that, you have, so this could be really. So then I'm thinking,
He's got it.
there's a bunch of them, and I was like, oh, he's so cool for their face videos. And then the app, and on the other hand, then I'm thinking, okay, you don't necessarily need just an app that's separate in itself, you need the app that's like, okay, I page this on my website. And then you get the app for the website made so that they can. He's got a couple.
Yeah.
Because some people use, what do you call it on the phone? Not office, but what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, yeah. I have Office on my phone.
Yeah, where you can do a Word doc and send it by the phone. I don't use it very often.
Yeah, I don't either.
I need to see it full size.
It's like I know people that read books on their phone and I'm like, are you kidding? I want to do it on my Kindle, it's a lot bigger.
Right, yeah, that's a.
And even if you enlarge the type, hell, how many words you got on the phone? No, I want it to screen, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't get
So-
it either, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, but, so, yeah, so I thought, I gotta figure out what to do an app
Direct it to you.
without it going fiber.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, I see.
Somebody from India that.
Get enough to eat, Gail?
Well, it's just gonna be-
Actually, they do when it comes to stuff like that.
Yes.
You would want to have the break on, just do the technical.
No, I'm not. Not that I don't love my husband, but
Because they don't have American English, but they can write
I got an ice cream.
They can do
and I got that.
technical stuff.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
You have to give me a call.
It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Let's get
I'm
together
gonna
a couple times there and then got busy.
Friday, Saturday,
Can't
and
believe
Sunday.
there's actually radish.
And I'll be interested to see if they do like a social media
Oh, yeah,
part of that.
sure. Yeah, let me know what you're learning.
And I should
Whatever.
get
Oh,
it done.
thanks.
And, were you able to find anything out on the Act Blue?
Oh, I forgot.
Okay.
I will look. I
Hi,
will
Mary,
look.
I can't think of your name.
I'm Tracy.
Maybe I just
Tracy.
forgot about it.
Yeah, sorry, Tracy.
Well, I haven't seen you in
Get
years.
back
I'll
to
look
me.
at it.
I haven't been to the
You.
store, and I don't work
Okay,
there
dude.
anymore.
Where are you at now?
I do my own thing, I'm doing online,
I
marketing,
got it in my
focusing
email.
on e-commerce.
Because,
Oh, perfect.
you know,
So,
tomorrow
yeah.
night,
That sounds good.
and
So
maybe
you at
we'll just
home
like
now,
park.
or-
Yeah,
I mean,
just
it's
work
at the
from
Casey
home.
Hall at 6:30, and
Slow
he's
process,
actually one
but
that's
I'm learning.
speaking
I get
tomorrow
it,
night.
I'm in the same
And it's
kind
on
of
the
boat
internet,
too,
same
so.
case,
always
for
tell
teens and preteens, or
Oh,
the
yeah.
parents and
I had
grandparents of
like
teens
actually like a
and
timer,
preteens.
and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna work
No,
on this
that's
project
like
for such,
you
and
need
I'd set my
video
timer.
recording.
And then I'd work on it, and then my timer would go off, and I'd set a
Channel
timer for
181.
10 minutes, and then I'd get up and like switch the laundry or whatever, and then my
Tomorrow.
timer would go off, and then I'd go back to my timer. Like,
It's good to be back, because that's what I did for 12 years.
Yeah,
Obviously, some
yeah.
people work from home. And there are definitely
So,
perks, you know, that you can.
and I might,
On your
I
lunch
told
break,
him
you
I'd
can throw
talk
something in the
about
crock pot
during
for
Right,
supper.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
my experience.
There are little things like that that are great. Like Pulse and wow, that's a first.
Cool, okay.
Yeah, I think it should, because so far the topics,
Okay,
I think
well,
there's been
if you
4 of them,
have
and
a
it was
little
like
bit of
on
time at some
teen
point.
hormones and on.
You just have to set a time.
pornography.
Like, don't, like,
I mean,
yeah,
I'm
look at
one of
your
those
people, like,
days,
just
so
set a
yeah.
timer.
And then we'll do
Yeah,
and then,
because I'm gonna, yeah, because I know
depression and
that,
mental health, and on some internet.
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
if somebody
So I
wants
mean,
to
there's
their
a
store
response.
and
Yeah.
sell something, I guess.
Have that problem.
Yeah, that'd be a great community.
Well, we turned our coffee
Yeah,
company
right?
public. We haven't sold one thing on our website. We
Oh,
didn't
good.
expect
Ah,
it.
okay.
We just knew that just having that, what was the email thing that you used, Jeff?
The one I use is Active Campaign.
Okay.
It has a couple things in it
This
that
is what
some of the
I
others
Here,
don't.
I
I
work
can
in the
look
program.
at.
Is there, what's the limit?
Yeah, I have a very good friend that does it, and I
Yeah.
got.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I'm not anywhere near the limit, so.
Okay.
Okay. If you like, do you have any of this?
What is,
The only thing
I'm gonna turn off the live stream so the world can't keep watching us.
do you have?
Hi, Deb.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How have you been?
I think I
Pretty good, how about you?
Good. Oh, there's, I just have to set this up. Good, no, my hands are empty.
How's your mom?
She's so good.